think that's the substance of our recommendation.
No, I mean, there was your reasoning, your rationale for what would be the decision to honor that, but I thought I understood that it should come before the Utilities Commission. And that's the only thing I was looking to have this here.
They're sending a letter. That'll be here for the utility board.
Okay, very good. That's all I wanted to, and then we can address that at the Utilities Board.
Good enough.
All right, and then, Brian, you brought up at the last meeting, I'm sure we're gonna have a request from an audience member tonight, follow up on the sewer accounts. Do we have any?
No, I hadn't had a chance to get over the chip.
That's fine, okay, that's fine. Next is the Parks and Recreation. Parks and Recreation?
Are we doing the update on the tennis basketball?
Yes, please, if we could, Ronnie, could you give us an update on the tennis courts? You see the guys are taking the fence down, and what's the next
The
step?
incidental board, the fence is down, and we didn't take the poles up, because every time you take a pole up, you leave a hole in the ground. I didn't want the kids, some of my kids stepping in it. Take you about a day to get them down before they start work, so we're ready.
Have they given it any idea when they're gonna be over here?
No, but we told them the last time that we wanted it done by Memorial Day.
Okay. And you're gonna,
Did the curbing around, Ronnie, also on the basketball?
That's theirs. They got to do that.
Okay.
All we're doing is taking down the fence and the poles.
so everything on our end's
The
done?
electric, the light?
No, the poles are still up.
Well, I mean,
don't wanna
outside the
take-
poles
yeah.
because of the kids, I understand
Yeah.
that, but I mean, outside that.
It'll be done when they're ready to go.
And you're gonna be, did you have a Parks and Rec meeting to?
Yes, we did. We met and discussed plans. For March, we're gonna have a St. Patty's Day bingo on March 14th from 7 to 10 p.m. We're still kind of working on plans for location. And we will be doing some advertising for it.
Okay.
We're gonna go with a dance, but they kind of decided they'd rather have a bingo. It's gonna be a family bingo on March 14th.
Okay.
From 7 to 10, we'll have a nice advertisement put out in the paper.
And just back to the tennis courts, Parks and Rec will in turn work to create some sort of policies that can be brought back before this board that we can move out on with respect to the new tennis courts and
And the basketball courts and the
Okay.
hours and the times. That.
Okay. And the other thing I wanted to ask was, are you going to be sending off another application for the playground equipment this year?
That's already in.
That's already in.
That was due last year, and by August of 2013.
Okay,
And
so-
the award will be April of this year.
Okay.
The award
Anything
letter.
that the town, I guess everything's just in place and now it's just a matter of waiting to hear from?
Just have to go out.
Okay. All right.
If I get any advertisements related to any events that Parks and Rec does from one of the town's social media sites.
Sure, we're supposed to make up a sheet, a St. Patty's sheet, on the bring course. All right.
Any questions of Susan, Parks and Rec? All right. Planning and zoning?
Planning and zoning, at its January 8th meeting, the Wacol Planning Commission reviewed the application of TFC Wacol LP for a conditional use to construct an accessory dwelling unit on the second floor of its existing marine repair building located on Walnut Street. After some discussion, the Planning Commission voted unanimously to make a favorable recommendation to the Board of Appeals for conditional use. The Board of Appeals met last night at its meeting, and they approved the conditional use of their accessory dwelling.
All right. And the planning meeting for this month was canceled due to the weather. So the business will be forwarded to the next meeting. Any questions of Butch for the planning and zoning? All right, moving along, museum board?
Okay, Museum Board had their meeting today. We went over some reorganization of the board positions, possibly a couple new members. We'll be dealing more with that at the next meeting or coming up at the next workshop meeting. We discussed some ideas for fundraising. We'll have more on that to come probably at our next meeting. We got a couple good ideas. The Maryland Historical Trust Grant intent letter was submitted and accepted. And we will be having a table again at the expo, March 1st. The museum will be setting one up, and this year it's going to be in honor of some special people from the town that have passed on.
Who's that?
Miss Durden, Larry,
Soon.
Pye,
Aye.
and,
Mr. Betts.
Betts, Mr. Betts, the four of them.
Good.
And also coming up in April, there's gonna be a grand reopening of the Tolchester Museum. We'll be doing a special, in April on that, and we'll have some more information on that a little bit later.
Yeah.
Is that any time in April, Susan?
April fifth.
The, you making a note of that for information sake? Okay. The,
We'll have more information on that as well.
is the gentleman that's gonna be assisting with the Tolchester Revisited, is he one that also needs to be, approved to be sworn or as a member?
I don't believe right now he's actually, gonna be a member,
Okay.
so.
He's not gonna be one, or,
He is not, he wasn't there today,
okay. Okay.
so we
Is
can
the
find out.
content
from
of
him
that
and
in
ask
the
him.
towns now? I mean,
Yes.
when you sign, I mean, is the building's not just the contents in it, correct? Or is it?
Well, the building belongs to Oyster Court, but all the contents inside
All the
are the,
contents, right.
are property of the town of Rock Hall.
Steve, we still have a camera on that, just to let people know.
Yep.
Speaking of cameras, is there a problem with the camera up on Main Street,
Which one?
the one by Dirties? See the faceplate is off. I didn't know if you guys were accessing it for any reason.
On the box?
Yes, no, on the pole, the wires leading up to the box. At the base of the pole, the plate
Oh,
is
no,
off.
that has nothing to do with us. You're not talking about the actual box?
Not the actual box, but I guess the light fixture itself. There, the base, the plate is off at the base.
I'm not aware of any problem with it. I don't know why that's.
Yeah, actually, I noticed the base was propped up against the light post. Ronnie, can you have one of the guys take a look at that?
Where's that again?
On the light post right next to Dirty's door. The
They just
base
put a
of it is
camera on
off.
the camera.
I didn't know if you guys were accessing that.
No,
Put
we've
camera
had
on
our,
camera.
we had our maintenance, we
Mhm.
had our maintenance thing about 3 or 4 weeks ago, Bob. There's no, everything was fine, bolts buttoned it back up, and nobody's, we have a quarterly maintenance contract on it.
Have you, I guess, checked that camera within the last couple of days?
That's what I'm saying, not within the last couple of days.
Check the operation of it, just to make sure everything is cool.
It's been about a week and a half, 2 weeks, Jamie was down there.
Yeah, I know that I know that, but I noticed this, actually, Newbach had said something to me, and then I noticed the other day the coverall was off, and I meant to say,
I didn't see that.
okay.
I was looking at her pothole.
All righty. Any other questions for the
See
museum
it
board?
fixed it.
Okay, next is we do have a ordinance or a resolution to adopt tonight, and that is 2014-01. Ronnie, would you like to give an overview of what we're doing?
It's just a resolution that allows us to close on this bond for the promising that we're gonna repay the $260,000 back. That's being lent to us by USDA for the construction of the clarifier.
All right,
I make a motion, accept resolution number 2014-01 as presented.
all right, we have a motion by Brian to go ahead and accept resolution 2014-01, which is the authorizing of the Rock Hall USDA loan. Do we have a second? We have a second by Brian. Any discussion? It is it's 2,400 a quarter, I believe is what it is. 40.
Chip, I have one question on here on the Schedule A, on back here, that it says, this is a schedule of principal advance, so it gives a date of the advance, the amount that's advanced, the remaining principal, and then the authorized signature. Then underneath the schedule principal, it says, advances of the principal amount of this bond shall be noted hereon by the registered owner of this bond. So I guess each time there's an advance, the amount, that's documented down here. But then it says, the failure to make any such notation shall not affect the validity or legal effect of any advance made. So why even have this if it doesn't, if we skip on, we're not recording one, what's?
Well, this is really how USDA is gonna track your payments and track the amount of outstanding principal, because you're allowed to prepay this bond at any time,
Right.
which is always an option. So while it's a 40-year obligation and it's spread out, obviously a long period of time, at any point, the town could say, we wanna prepay. And this is where USDA will say, okay, then if you're gonna prepay, here's your outstanding principal. So this is really more of tracking by USDA than us.
So we don't do that, this is not our tracking sheet.
Correct.
They do that.
Right.
So
Just
if
like,
they
most-
feel-
just
so
like
they
banks,
feel-
just like any other bank that you repay a loan, the bank's keeping track of what they're applying from every payment to interest and principal. So when you say, I wanna prepay this, I wanna pay this off, what is the outstanding principal? They're gonna go right to this tracking and say, well, here it is.
They don't keep all this in like a computer?
Oh, I'm sure they do. Yeah, this, I mean, you understand, that's a form exhibit. I mean, how they track this is probably much more sophisticated than, they're not, I mean, they're not literally sitting there writing out a form like this, but they're gonna have a form like this in whatever system they use to track their loans.
Okay, so so basically, this is not all one that we're keeping track of?
Correct.
Okay.
With respect to the signatures, it says any one of the three is listed, or any two of the three that is listed, the town manager, mayor, and vice president of the council. I assume that's in accordance with the check signing with respect to the charter.
For, you mean signing any documents related to this?
It states in here, you can go to section 6 as an example, and it states that the mayor, vice president, or town manager, any one of the two of the three, can sign on. Again, is that in accordance with the charter with respect to signatures?
Well, this is, I mean, this is different than signing checks for the town.
I understand.
I mean, this just is, it's you all authorizing certain officials to sign documents related to this loan.
Right, I just
So
didn't know
it
if
just
it was.
provides that if you're not available, the vice mayor could sign.
Okay, so so it does, it's
I
in
mean,
conformance with.
it's
the-
consistent with, but it's not necessarily why it's in this resolution.
Right, but it, I mean, it is in conformance with the charter in the manner of how we sign checks, or any other documents, I assume.
I don't know.
Well, you wrote this up, right?
Huh?
You drafted this, right?
No, I did not draft this.
Who drafted
My
this?
partner Lindsay Rader drafted this
Oh.
resolution.
Okay, what's your opinion on it?
Well, to answer your question, I just said, I understand your check signing requirements.
Right.
This is a separate instrument that just says documents related to this may be executed by the mayor or the vice mayor or the town manager.
Right, and I guess my question was, is this just in accordance with the normal protocol as to how we sign things?
Things, what?
Bonds, checks?
Yeah, I mean, this is very standard and consistent with, you know, what local governments would do, yeah.
So
With the
this
charter.
is any one of the three can sign, doesn't have to be two.
And actually, in some places, that two do have to sign.
It says 2 out of 3 has to sign in every one of the areas, and I was just confirming that.
We're not gonna let anybody sign without you.
All right, good, moving on. Next is,
Now, do you have a clean copy that could have been signed?
yes, I have a clean copy here.
Well, could we
Could we do it now?
make a motion to approve it, and if you're gonna approve it, everybody sign it, so that we can get it back, and Chip can witness it while we're here, and.
In fact, I prefer to be able to take it back tonight, so I can get it to Lindsay, so she can.
All right, and Stephanie did state on here that you be the witness, as stated.
And make sure Dan gets it straight. Dan, can I make sure you go ahead and follow him?
Are they doing that?
There's plenty of, I mean, there's copies of it available. I mean, I have an extra copy, I've seen some people.
They can have my copy.
That's a clean copy.
Here.
I can use mine.
And it's just page 10 that gets signed.
So whatever instructions Lindsay gave, follow those. I'm sure they're right there with the documents.
They say that there's anything that's going to be signed, please sign it. Who's that?
A4 signed, where it says mayor, vice president, or council, town manager, and clerk treasurer?
Does it say that, what should be signed? Are there instructions there from Lindsay?
No, but there is on A4, it says mayor, vice mayor.
Right, does it say that it should be signed?
Why
It
would
has
it?
a sticky note here, it says sign, but
Right,
that's not
sign
the
here.
section. where
Right.
it's-
Right,
So you just sign where it says sign here.
but why would it have,
Susan follow directions. If not, we'll send it back.
I'm pretty sure they say just do page
and
10.
that's the sign that's executed by the mayor?
It's the
mayor,
that's-
vice mayor.
If not, it'll come back.
That'll come into play later, it doesn't have to be executed right now. Just, this is adoption of the resolution.
So Exhibit A, form of the bond, does not have to be signed right now.
Correct.
When will that be signed?
When Lindsay recommends.
When they tell us.
There will be closing documents, when you actually do the closing on this, loan, there will be a number of documents to sign, including that form of bond.
In this country, we've signed our names 75 times to this one clarify project.
Okay, did you call for a vote?
I have, as a matter of fact, no, so we had a second, and, all in
Susan, you
favor?
signed it?
Before, I guess Chip does the, before he signs, hold on,
You
so
signed it?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
I'm not signing it.
Okay. My hand on down.
That's an opposed.
It didn't sound like it.
That's not signing it.
So that's an opposition.
So 4-1.
You got it.
Yep. Thank you.
All right, next is the, there's the ethics ordinance introduction.
While we're on ethics, I'd like to bring up about the state ethics. It seems to me that in the passing of a few emails back and forth, mainly between you and Chip, that there was a possibility of some disclosure, some confidential information that was passed on to the newspapers. Chip, isn't that against the rules and laws of ethics to do something like that?
Well, I mean, I think what Councilman Price is referring to is the exchange that occurred on February 4th. And in an email, we did disclose a confidential memorandum. So, and as I pointed out in my follow-up, I think, I just pointed out the issue with that, and it's really up to the council, full council, to determine whether that's a concern of theirs. with
Well, I
respect
think
to
it's a
the
great concern. I mean, because there's been an awful lot going on of that here lately, it seems like.
Well, I think you're gonna have to recuse yourself from that because this involved you, and I think the other thing is, you asked me at the meeting if in fact that in turn, if I had any correspondence that spoke specifically to any action that you deemed that I could not do unilaterally. And I did not have that available, but I made that available to you, so as far as I'm concerned, you waived your rights.
Well, let me go ahead and explain what happened, so, because that all sounds very confusing.
It's not
I
confusing, you asked
received-
that night, Jeff,
I
for any
received, well,
information.
if I may, if the council will allow me, I'll explain what Mr. Councilman Price is referring to. So after the last meeting, I got an email from you, Mr. Mayor, February 4th. And you addressed this email to me, and you copied the council members, and you consulted 2 representatives of the Kent County News.
Mhm.
And you went on to talk about what happened at the meeting, but you attached some documents. And one of the documents you attached was a memorandum dated August 12th, 2013, from me to the mayor and council, and the memorandum is clearly marked confidential attorney-client communication.
But did that
So, if I
memorandum
can
not go
finish-
to
if
the
I can
public?
finish-
Did it not go to the public?
Hang on a minute, Bobby, let's let him finish.
All right, well, let him finish.
Please let him finish.
So, by